Episode 5. We're back. We're live. Today we'll be talking about Linkin Park. We're going to be talking about the new era, the old era, Chester Bennington, and their legacy on the music industry.
Yeah.
And let's see here. Linkin Park has been highly successful over the years. Their breakthrough album Hybrid Theory came out in 2000. The album had Crawling, One Step Closer, and Paper Cut were some of the most notable songs. The album was sold over 10 million copies, deeming it a commercial success. The album was very nu metal, mixing Shinoda's rapping with Bennington's screaming and singing. Would you guys agree with that? Is that a pretty good description of the first album?
Yeah. The only other thing, I don't know where Nine Inch Nails falls in everything, but when I listen, I went for my Linkin Park phase, I think a lot of us did, and then going back and listening to the first Nine Inch Nails album, I'm like, whoa, this sounds a lot like Linkin Park.
Yeah. It's a very much inspired.
So there was a little bit of industrial stuff in it too, but definitely more nu metal, alternative rock.
Yeah, kind of mixing that DJing with rock. What were we gonna say?
I think the Hybrid Theory is what put me onto them. Specifically, the very first song I heard, Linkin Park wise, Crawling. Yeah,
Crawling was a good one. It saw a lot of success. These are the songs we kind of grew up with, like hearing on the radio. You hear it on any kind of alternate channel or rock channel.
And being able to hear something like that on the radio was definitely an appeal.
To
me.
To get the song out to the masses so they become classics.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of, there just wasn't a lot of music like that would get on the radio.
Yeah, no, I agree. Anyways, moving on to the next album. Reanimation was the sophomore album. It featured a reworking of the songs from Hybrid Theory. This album was the band's attempt to experiment with a more electronic feel. So I don't know. I haven't listened to much Reanimation.
Yeah, I honestly have a take here. I have a question. As I was reading the notes, I was like, is it considered a sophomore album? Would Meteora be the sophomore?
Meteora would, I guess.
Is Reanimation I guess
Reanimation was more of a remix, right?
Yeah, because I guess there's some discussion on this. Is there's no new songs. It's all remixes of their songs from Hybrid Theory, either by them or by a guest artist. There's even a Marilyn Manson remix on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, does this count as a second album to you?
You're right, Alex. I said their sophomore album, but I don't think it's just a reworking and more of electronic versions of the songs. I don't think.
Right.
I mean, it's all cool still. It's just some people do count remix albums as full albums. I don't know.
Right.
So
I personally wouldn't.
Putting it that way, I personally wouldn't.
Yeah, I would say Meteora. Third album was Meteora. We'll consider their sophomore album. Third album technically. But this had songs on the radio you still hear today, like Numb, Somewhere I Belong. This was
Breaking the Habit.
Breaking the Habit. This was a great success to the band, and they went number 1 on the Billboard 200 in 2004. So this must have been when they were still probably selling albums, man.
Yeah.
I still, in a way, think that the Spotify and stuff is stealing some of their money because they don't really get to sell the albums and stuff.
Yeah.
Only if some people still buy CDs and some people like vinyl, like you, Alex. But that's about it, man. They're losing out on a lot of money by. But I mean, I guess with their tours and stuff, with those streaming services, maybe they're more mainstream. So maybe no, I know for a fact they're making more money on their tours now because tickets for anything, I mean, they're high.
Expensive.
I was listening to Les Claypool on the Mark Maron podcast, and he said he treats them more as a calling card or postcard. It's
I think so.
The diehards will buy it up and enjoy it, but they're not gonna be making a living off that.
Off of just the streaming service. The
streaming of the album, new album.
Yeah,
they make the money off touring.
Yep, you have
merchandise, and so now I see why tickets are so expensive, and merchandise is so expensive too because That is their primary way of making money. They're not
Yeah.
making money from legitimate records anymore.
I think it goes a little deeper too. In the last episode, you had mentioned attracting like men with beards and
Yeah.
like the drinking crowds, and that's only so big. The more open you can get it.
You're describing a Primus, Scott. Sir.
I'm thinking of more like a Clutch or something, bro.
Clutch too. I mean, yeah, we're both in that boat.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that that's not good music, but if you don't appeal to the masses, which obviously Linkin Park did really fucking well,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
Everybody, dude, I don't care where you go, everybody knows the Linkin Park song if Numb comes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or-
Yeah.
Dude, everybody knows that shit.
We didn't
at
go-
our age.
Yeah, we didn't even go over the hits on Hybrid Fear besides Crawling. Like, gosh, what is it? You know, the one that's everywhere. I can't believe I'm looking
one
at space
song.
on it. Ah, God.
From Hybrid
pull
Theory.
pull up Hybrid Theory. Let's pull up that shit on Spotify, man.
This is one of those things, I can't believe it. It's like I start talking, I get to the point, and it's like, it's not there. Where to go?
This mad thing. Yeah.
In the end,
In
I can't
the
can't believe it. That I like people who aren't into
That shit hit pretty hard, didn't it?
Yeah,
It
people
did.
who aren't into alternative metal or rock don't like listen to that song. And that always surprised me. Like just the type of people
Right.
I'd see listening to that.
Dude, just in the end, the bridge. I put my trust in you.
Yeah,
It's hard to believe. I can remember seeing Linkin Park on like my iPod Nano or some shit.
Dude, that was probably where they got. Dude,
That
during
long ago.
the real iPod era, bro, Linkin Park died. I'm telling you. So yeah, that classics.
yeah.
2004. The Collision EP with Jay-Z. So you have perhaps the first, on a big scale, on a large scale, successful crossover with Jay-Z and Linkin Park. Talk about the encore, do you want more? You know that
Yeah.
shit?
Yeah. Dude, that was
So,
huge.
Encore Numb remix on that, and that was cool, man.
That was
Yeah.
cool. Practically unheard of.
Probably brought a lot of audiences together, because I remember like when I was younger, like even kids that black kids talking about Linkin Park and stuff. You know what I mean? So that it was cool to see that. But Linkin Park, great. Let's see here. Linkin Park had many other albums. You can name some albums if you want. You
Yeah.
probably know more.
I mean, like Minutes to Midnight. I'm actually drawing a blank on the 2010 album, but there's also Living Things in 2012. That's
Yes.
when we were in high school, like just getting into high school.
Yeah. Just
And it was everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, skimmed over it too, but around that Minutes to Midnight era, there was also like the original New Divide that they did for the Transformers, the second movie.
Yep.
Dude, that's what I was gonna say in Transformers.
Yeah, like
was it too?
The first one had What I've Done, which was off Minutes to Midnight.
Yep.
And then
No, it ended with that, right?
yeah, and it was so popular with that movie that they did an original song for Revenge of the Fallen, the
Yeah.
sequel.
So that's what I mean. It was so big that you were starting to see it in movies as well. Transformers 2 with Sheila Buff and Megan Fox. I mean, that movie was popping at the time.
At
That
the
was
time.
that was the biggest movie
Yep.
with CGI. I guarantee at the time that was top 2 or 3 most expensive movies.
Yeah.
And who
For sure.
was it? James Cameron who did Transformers?
No, Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. Sorry, Michael Bay. But yeah.
Yeah, James Cameron did Avatar around the same time.
Yeah, he did. That's what I was thinking of, the first Avatar. But yeah, that's so okay. So you big part of the culture, Linkin Park. And I'm gonna skip way the hell ahead. So if you have anything else to say about these other albums,
Yeah, not really too much. You
they're
know,
not
I
really
li-
like their big hits came from their first 2 or 3 albums.
Yeah,
They didn't
well,
really come.
Living Things was huge when it
Yeah.
came out, and it was kind of the transition to their new kind of pop and electronic phase
Sure.
that they would eventually do.
Yeah.
On for I think I'm gonna be honest, I haven't listened to them, but there's one in 2014 and another one in 2017.
We're getting ready to talk about the one in 2017,
Yep.
so that's where I was gonna kind of leave off. Linkin Park had many other albums come throughout the years, but perhaps one of the most well-known albums, One More Light, in 2017. This was kind of a lighter, less heavy album, wouldn't you say, Alex?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say, Jonathan? Have you listened to it?
Oh yeah.
I haven't fact-checked myself, but I remember at the time in 2017 seeing like videos going like viral of like people were at the concerts basically booing them because they didn't want to hear these new lighter songs.
People didn't want to hear that when they heard the first Linkin Park and the second Linkin Park, just heavy, dude. And I got a clip or two I want to show you guys, but it's just like the raw power of Chester's voice. But he could do it heavy as well as do it soft, but people didn't want to hear that soft shit at the time. So this was a lighter, less heavy album than the others.
Yep.
The album was released May 19, 2017. Sadly, this would be their last album with Bennington. He committed suicide July 20th, 2017. A tragic loss to nu metal, rock, and music as a whole.
It's been that long.
Do you guys remember when that happened?
I
2017?
do. I remember seeing it on the news.
It's almost 8 years ago now.
Dang.
7 years ago. About 7.5 years ago. Yeah.
Was it 17 or 18?
17.
You have to correct me.
I know it was because Cornell passed away. I remember I saw him at the
I was about
concert.
to
He
ask.
passed away not too long
Well,
after.
And then Chester.
He
27.
almost purposely made it the same day, which is what it's making me wonder if that was 2018 instead.
2017, bro.
Okay.
I looked it up. I did some research. I looked it up. No, because I remember it was
I'm like-
2017.
I'm trying to
the year
just
after
picture it
I
up
finished school.
all in my head then, because I know. Yeah. Either way, though, him and Cornell had a close connection and was definitely a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was. Have you heard the conspiracies?
No, I haven't.
I don't think I have.
Oh, apparently, I don't know.
He
We're
said,
see,
"Let me
we're
grab
going
my beer."
into. Yeah, let me grab my beer. Hold it. Wait, give it back. No. Okay. The conspiracy, they say they were like about to release like a documentary on like them, and they're trying to expose like the pedophile ring, and now we see that on such a large scale. But back then it was a little more uncommon. Like these guys like Weinstein, and I don't know if Epstein had been caught, but like, you know, they were running rings and shit. And but he was trying to expose a lot of people. But it was a coincidence that Cornell, Bennington were about to release this, this documentary, and then all of a sudden they commit suicide. Which who else committed suicide? Epstein.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't
Right.
know. It's
Maybe a good comment for our viewers.
maybe we'll have another episode.
Is it a conspiracy?
Is it a conspiracy
We
or
wanna
is
hear
it factual or?
We want to know your opinions.
Yeah, so that's good. Yeah.
I know nothing about it, but
All I
there's
do know-
some truth and false to.
All I do know
Conspiracies.
is that when Cornell was found dead, he had been taking a mix of like 7 fucking drugs. Most of which prescription, I think. I don't know if he had anything illegal, but it was like, dude, if you're on like 7 to 10 different types of medicines a day like he was, like, yeah, I could see how that would alter your brain chemistry. And they both had dark lyrics, like more sad lyrics.
Yeah.
Maybe they were already like prone to depression, which I'm sure they were, but I don't. Is it that they were killed, or did they kill themselves? I don't know. But
Right.
sorry.
There's too many
Yeah.
smoke and mirrors to know the truth.
Yeah, it's hard telling. Anyway, we're gonna talk about a little bit more about Chester Bennington and his role of shaping the Linkin Park's identity before we go into new stuff. Safe to say that Bennington's role in the band was huge. He was a front man, singer, screamer, and maybe most importantly, a great lyricist who brought an emotional connection with his listener. The style he brought to the audience was unmatched, And I just feel as though like screaming and singing at the same time, he could go back and forth. He was one of the best to ever do it. Just the way he did it. Do you think so?
Yeah, no, I definitely think when it comes to new metal and alternative rock around that time, they were, he's definitely one of the biggest.
Yeah, agreed.
Biggest to ever do it.
I'll show you a clip later, and we'll watch it a little bit, but you'll see that and be like, holy shit, yes. But let's talk about a little bit about the band was primarily a new metal group. They blended rock, rap, electronic, and experimental, industrial, you said, sounds.
Yeah.
Their music had great commercial success and even was used in movies such as Transformers, which we talked about.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about like his legacy and the fans of Linkin Park, because I think we're all fans of Linkin Park. I would say Chester's fans, first and foremost, they adored him. He was the voice of Linkin Park. And that is why the band went on hiatus for so long afterwards. He was Linkin Park, and I think that even with Emily Armstrong stepping in, I don't think she can do it as well as Chester. But I respect her attempt, and we're going to get into that a little bit more. After Chester passed, the band was obviously in disarray. Just hours before Chester, the fact that just hours before Chester died, he looked healthy, he was smiling, he was laughing, he was spending times with loved ones, and thus it came to shock everybody that same day, where there was literally clips of him smiling, laughing, cutting up with his family, he killed himself. So we're going to talk about what the band did afterwards. Linkin Park had a tribute to Chester Bennington in October of 2017. Some notable acts such as Systems of a Down, Serge Tankian, Travis Barker of Blink-182, and Avenged Sevenfold performed some of his catalog. Mike Shinoda stepping in for many of the songs. Mike Shinoda stepping in instead of Chester Bennington singing most of the songs. The concert and proceeds went to the One More Light Fund, set up in Chester's memory to mental health and awareness and suicide prevention. So they had a lot of people there to show up and help be part of that. Did you watch that, Alex?
No.
I didn't watch it either.
I did not.
I watched Chris Cornell's thing, but...
Yeah, I watched some clips of that one. It was a weird time in my life, because...
Yeah.
I don't know. You listen to an artist so much, and then you kind of disassociate with him for a while. Because you're like, that was that part of my life.
It was that phase.
And I've kind of moved on to other things. Yeah. So, even though it was a big event, I still didn't check it out. I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't either, so it's okay. I was just wondering, because I know, you're real on the music, and I think maybe out of all of us, you would have been most likely to check it out, but...
Yeah, it definitely just depends how much interest I have in an artist for stuff like that.
Yeah. So, next we're going to talk about kind of Linkin Park, the new version of Linkin Park, and what is to come. John, have you listened to any of Emily Armstrong's Linkin Park?
I have not.
We'll play a clip. I got a clip for you, and maybe we'll do a comparison in voice. But I think she fits well. I think she does a good job at playing the songs. Do I think she's Chester? No. And that I get why people are bitter about that and bitter about Linkin Park, but I think to the true fans, she can do them some service in bringing back that style of vocals. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah. No, we were talking about the song Two-Faced, which is on the new album, and I remember listening to it, and I'm like, it immediately took me back to that early 2000s sound that they had. So they're trying to kind of respect the legacy. Some songs sound like they're going in a new direction, but they still want to kind of bring back the classic sound.
Yeah. They kind of want to do a little bit away with like the One More Light, like they're trying to
Yeah.
go back to their more heavy stuff.
Right.
Definitely a lot heavier. And
Yeah.
even like Shinoda, his rap style, it's an like immediate callback to that early 2000s sound. Like he hasn't done songs of that in a while.
Right.
And what do you think about Shinoda's individual success with like Fort Minor and stuff? You've obviously listened to those.
Yeah, no, and there's the. Again, I will.
1% skill,
Yes, that-
15% concentrated power will,
Yeah,
5% pleasure. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, bro.
It sounded pretty good to me.
Close,
But yeah,
man.
you know the song. I can't think of the title, but it's.
I know the name or something.
Yeah, I remember the name.
Remember the name, that's it.
I honestly thought he would go back to that, but because I was like, he has an existing band he can go back to instead of Linkin Park, but no, going to Linkin Park. So I guess that brings up my kind of question: is that there's a lot of people who think they shouldn't have reused the name; they should have just kind of broke off to something different.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Is I get the point, but at the same time, you're losing the
To me-
credibility you have with that name.
To me, and I had this later in the podcast, but I'll just go ahead and talk about it now. It kind of is like similar to what William Duvall did for Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
Remember the new singer in Alice in Chains? They brought him out one day when they were singing Rooster, and it was like, damn, that's him, dude.
Mhm.
That's like yes, it's not Lane, but yes, he has a great voice. Like, and it's so good because like, you know, they were smiling and like people were like, damn, they're back, you know,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the same for this Emily Armstrong. They announced her one night as the co-vocalist, and she's got a really good voice, so I think she's a good fit for the job.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree on that.
It's hard to fill Chester's shoes, bro. Nobody's gonna fill Chester's shoes.
I
I don't
think so.
care how, like what your pedigree is and anything, dude. It's gonna be hard. You know?
Yeah.
That's kind of like when Chester filled in for Stone Temple Pilots. Do you remember that? He was in Stone Temple Pilots briefly, and he filled in. At the time, they kicked out Scott. What's his name?
Waylon?
Scott Weiland. They kicked out Scott Weiland because like he was in drugs and heavy stuff, and he came in and he did a really good job. But obviously, it wasn't Stone Temple Pilots, but.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's just kind of crazy how like he fills in for Stone Temple Pilots, and now he's dead, and Emily fills in for him. So
Yeah.
he was getting out of his comfort zone. People didn't like it. Now she's getting out of her comfort zone. People don't like it either. So
It's funny you mentioned that. I was like, you mentioned Stone Temple Pilots. I'm like, I know it's a grunge band. I was honestly thinking of Temple of the Dog. I'm like, which is again is a Chris Cornell band.
yeah,
So
yeah. So I respect her for it. But anyways, Emily Armstrong is an LA native. Her most notable work before Linkin Park was in the band Dead Sarah. She has collaborated with other artists such as Courtney Love, Demi Lovato, The Offspring, and Beck. So that's some of what she's done beforehand. So she was probably well known in the community while they picked her up. I mean, they probably heard her at some point sing,
yeah.
Yep.
And I've watched an interview with her, and she's a fan. They asked her what she thought of Chester, and she really likes Chester, and just heard her. She was a guitar player originally, and she heard Chester, and she was like, that was one of the first times when she heard Chester and Hybrid Theory, when she's like, I could do something like that.
Yep.
Like not being Linkin Park, but like I could like learn how to sing like that and scream like that, and so she did. She was invited to try out in 2019 after the band had tried several other singers, which didn't work out. During a live performance, they announced her as the co-vocalist. And we're going to talk about kind of her style. I think, kind of like what we're talking about, I think she brings back a more nu metal feel to the band, more of like a hard guttural singing voice with screaming and singing, kind of like what Chester had in the first 2 or 3 albums.
Yeah.
Emily's stage presence, how their stage presences are different. If you watch videos of Chester, it's more about like running around, like a more serious face, more like a more memorable experience. Like, I mean, something I would kind of relate to that is like when we went and saw Slayer for the first time, and we saw what was that band called? What was the other band that was in it?
Oh, Angel, Death Angel? Or are you talking about Deer Creek?
Not Exit now. I'm talking about the first time. Who else was playing?
So, for Slayer? Yeah. It was Anthrax?
Anthrax!
Okay.
The singer Anthrax. Remember we all remember him like looking at us?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
So
Chester
close.
tried, he was like staring at us. So I think Chester was trying to put on more of a performance, serious face, is more like a physical emotion. Where you have Emily, who is more about, she's more about emphasis on lyrics and like a traditional rock sense than a physical side or like experience. You know?
Yeah.
She's just bringing more, as much as she can with the lyrics, kind of just standing back, kind of like a traditional like rock and roll band. I mean, she's not fucking running around the stage and shit. Damn, dude.
Oh, really? Almost took me out.
Let's put you down, bro.
He said I'm zooming.
Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit more about like the reception of fans and stuff. Have you kind of seen the reception to her in like the comment section on YouTube?
Yeah.
Or something? What do you think it is?
Well, the people who are like real Linkin Park fans seem to appreciate her.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then there's the people that are kind of
Stop. Go lay down.
they're kind of like just barely into Linkin Park or like only know the hits,
Yeah.
and they get creeped out by the things like how it's a fact that she's into Scientology.
Oh, I didn't know she was into Scientology.
That's
Like,
interesting.
Yeah. That's as far as I know. I haven't done my research on that subject.
yeah.
Right.
So
I just know it's a fact.
Verified fact.
okay, so she's into the Church of Scientology with Tom Cruise and then.
Yeah.
So
Tom
we
Cruise.
see where connections
So-
came from. No, I'm just fine.
Yeah, it's lack of knowledge. Like the more knowledge you have on it, the probably more creeped out you are by it.
Right.
Evan has a story. My brother, he's talking about he went to Colorado or something. He saw the Church of Scientology and he went into like the lobby, you know. He's like, man, I just got so creeped out. I just left, man. I was like, man, I don't know if it was like that, but I don't know. It makes me wonder, you know, what it's all about. But anyway, moving on. I just kind of feel like, what you said. Some people hate her. Some people just like to hate, bro. They just like
Haters gonna hate.
fuck her. She's not Chester. It's like, well, obviously
Yeah.
not.
Right.
And I don't think she's trying to be Chester. I think she's trying to be her own, like individual self and sing it how she would sing it, while also maintaining a similar style to what Linkin Park wants.
Dude, that leads me to the question that Alex asked earlier. As far as like taking the name and going a different direction, should they take the music, the sound, and go a different direction? I was debating that also.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Like, where would they go with it?
Well,
Yeah, I don't know.
it's like you can make a new band name and start from scratch, or you can take a band name that's already known
'Cause
and
look, bro,
has the credibility. It's like they
Go
wouldn't be
ahead.
selling out arena shows if they went by a different name.
Right.
That's just a fact.
Right.
All I'm saying is this is like they have so much like broad, like they got rapping, they got DJing, they got rock music, they got screaming, they got singing, like they got all this shit already. So like, what direction I guess would you go?
Right.
with it,
Well,
you
would
know
you
what
go?
I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, like they do the same thing, just like a different. Like I don't know. There's people
What
that are
is
hung
the
up
name?
on the name.
Linkin
Like
Park.
they don't. Like Linkin Park's hasn't been a thing for 7 years, and you're gonna bring in a female singer and just tour and make a new album. So
Yeah,
that
just
some
out of
people, that
nowhere.
throws
It
off some
doesn't
people.
sit well especially when after Chester died, like it's kind of like Soundgarden. It's like, are they ever going to go on? Or because there's never going to be anybody like Chris Cornell ever again. So, like, how are they going to replace that? It's kind of like Chester. Like, there's never going to be anybody quite like Chester. So, like, I don't know. Maybe the fact that they did it, some people are still bitter, like the hardcore loyal Linkin Park fans. But
Yeah.
they need to just move on because I'm gonna explain their first performance together. Like you see, like Shinoda and her, and Shinoda's just smiling so big. Like he's really happy his band is back. Like even though Chester isn't there, like to him making that music, it's doing him a good service. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. What do you guys think about her? I'll pull up a clip for you here in a second and let you hear a little shit.
Yeah, he has like no context.
Yeah.
I have the context.
Yeah.
What do you think about her?
I think in like on paper versus the final product, it's better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of callbacks. I can tell there's respect to the older material.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So, what do you think like the future of Linkin Park is? I think they're gonna make some really good albums with her, and as far as I know, I mean, she seems like a good enough fit for the band. Like she'll probably be in that for a while. At least in the 2020s, she'll have some good albums under her belt.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to continue. They've gone this far. They're not just going to shut it down.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
Especially like I said in 2019 when they were trying several other singers and none of them worked. So they ended up picking her. You know what I mean?
Right.
They invited her to try out to freaking Linkin Park, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like, hey, we're having tryouts. Come.
Right.
Oh, you know who's having tryouts for a drummer right now?
Yeah, Primus.
Primus, bro.
Are you serious?
You gonna do it?
I don't think I'm on that. I'm not quite on that level.
We're looking for drummers from all over the universe. That's what it said, from
And Les just posted an update like a day or two ago. He's like, I'm looking over for like 4,000 videos, submissions.
Dude,
So
you know
it's
who I was
tons of
looking at
people.
when the Smashing Pumpkins, they were looking for a new guitarist.
Yeah.
They ended up picking that girl. What's her name? Mimi or something?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with her, but
she seems good, but they ended up picking her. But man, there was a lot of good auditions where I'm like, man, they could have picked up any of these dudes. Really,
Yeah.
they're pretty good.
it's not, that one was also weird. Is it's like Smashing Pumpkins oddly has like a social media presence. So like all the like social media guitarists were kind of like the main picks. I'm like, well, that's not where I thought it was going, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they ended
I
up
was
doing.
on YouTube where I saw a lot of the dudes, which, I mean, YouTube's social media, don't get me wrong, but it's not like Instagram or Twitter or anything, but yeah, that girl Mimi, she's a real big social media guitarist. She makes weird faces and stuff.
Yeah.
She's a good guitarist,
But
she just seems a little cringe.
Yeah.
She seems like a
Cringy?
little one of them cringe kind of guitarists on Instagram that play just like 30 seconds of a song,
Yeah, and that was my reaction too. I think watching the first live video of her, I'm like, no, she's a good fit.
Yeah.
I definitely think better than on again better on in practice than on paper.
Sure. So now is what I kind of want to do, man, is I kind of want to go to, we're wrapping up here, but I just want to, there's a couple, let's do the,
I guess just do Two-Face because that literally just sounds like a Hybrid Theory track.
yeah. So,
Oh, so this is her.
To help save for our home, we
Oh,
stopped going on
Emily?
trips and giving each other expensive
Emily
gifts.
Armstrong, man.
We handmade them instead. That one took me 3 weeks. Getting pre-qualified for a home loan was easier. It only took like 3 minutes. Fuck scarf. Oh!
Look at that drone footage, bro.
Something we haven't played yet?
I think this is the time to do it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, bro. Look how happy Shinoda looks, man.
Yeah.
Ecstatic.
Oh yeah, he's feeling it.
Sao Paulo, that's Brazil, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Do you think we can see a pit? You think you could open up the pit right
Don't
here?
make my son cry, man.
My son is in tears.
When's Linkin Park gonna get him?
I'm sure you probably will.
Can't hear myself think. Can't hear myself think. Can't hear myself think. Stop yelling at me!
Bro, that drum work, though.
Yeah.
It's a sold out arena too.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Sao Paulo, man. But people say they go on like world tours, bro. But when they go to South America, they like only play freaking Sao Paulo, Brazil. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
kinda.
Off the rip, definitely no Chester.
Yeah.
Definitely no
But
Chester.
that sounded good, man. I
But-
like
Yeah.
it.
I think if she can bring them back to where they were, we might be onto something good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I would say first, we need her to get to the hype level that he was at.
Fuck yeah, bro. Dude, we don't have to watch this whole thing, but man, dude, this is like seriously one of his best. This is what I mean with the screaming vocal. See how he's moving around and stuff?
Yeah, right.
And that's how he would move
Being a
around.
good hype man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Another playing a little guitar.
Right.
Dude, these screams right here. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then how he's
That's
singing going to that, bro. Like the singing. Like nothing, bro. Where's the distortion? No distortion even in his voice. Where'd he go? How many miles do you think he ran in this contest?
It's like running from side to side.
Probably a couple.
Couple miles.
At least, man.
Killed it.
Bruh. I think he had a softer song after that, but that's just what I mean, man. I mean, you know, he was good at it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? He was very good at it. Is there anything else you guys want to mention or talk about on that one?
I think we about covered most of
Yeah.
it.
What do you think?
Yeah, just like I said, I definitely think they're back. They're not gonna pull the plug on it anytime soon. Unless something like huge happens, but
Right.
I don't know.
That Emily, man, I mean, she's pretty good, but just to hear, like, I mean, I could even pull up some songs of her, but I'm not going to, but of her doing, like, the OG Chester stuff. She don't sound like that, but, I mean, she does okay, you know what I
Right.
mean? She
Yeah.
can hold up, but I think she needs to put more of an emphasis on, like, yeah, they need to play classic songs, but she needs to get her own stuff out, too.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So she can, yeah. But anyways, I guess kind of wrapping this one up, I really like Linkin Park. I guess I like, obviously I'm more biased. I like Chester's era, just what we grew up on. But I like Emily's stuff too. But I'm excited to see where it goes and what kind of stuff they make with her.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah. I'm excited.
absolutely. So this is going to be it here on the Linkin Park. This is going to be their old stuff versus their new stuff. So stay tuned. We're going to try to post a new episode every Wednesday at 7 p.m. So
Sharp.
lock the hell in
Yep.
and be here at 7 p.m. And we hope to entertain you a little bit.
Don't forget to comment if you think it was a conspiracy, the Chester Cornell situation.
Yes,
Yeah.
please comment on that. Like, subscribe, share. It helps us out a lot.
Until next
So
time.
until next time, we're out.